Hello and welcome to Race Week Wrapped. I'm Saunders CB and you're joining me in the Principality. This is a double header in Monaco. A first for Formula E, a first for any World Championship motorsport for that matter. 2 races this weekend, very pivotal point in the season, very important for some to try and pick up some points, very important for others to ride the momentum the way that they're currently riding. Pit Boost is back, there's so much to look forward to. Let's get straight into some driver insights, and I went and found a few in the pit lane. It was about a year ago when you stepped into a Formula E car race for the first time in Monaco, and now you're back. And the circumstances are, I would say, quite different, I'd say.
Yeah, very different. I can't believe that was almost a year ago now. It feels like so much less. Yeah, of course, having a good start to the season, coming back here, it's a very different situation than what I was in last year.
For those that might not have seen Formula E racing in Monaco before, let's give them a taste of what they can expect to see.
Absolute chaos. I think that's the best way I can describe it.
Jake Dennis, here we are in the iconic Monaco pit lane. A pit lane that's going to have a lot more action this weekend, especially in the first race.
Yeah, second Pit Boost race of the year. Super excited for it. I think the race itself on Saturday is going to be super quick, which means overtaking is a little bit more difficult than usual. We'll still see, I think, over 100 overtake.
Your first Monaco as well as a resident of the Principality. Very short commute in and out.
Short commute, do some private testing. 3 a.m. in my 1 Series at the moment, so yeah, hopefully it helps out.
Here we are, the first order of business of the weekend, the track walk, and it's done slightly different in Monaco because, as you'll notice, there's still many cars on the road, and in fact it's about 5:30, which means it's very much rush hour. It's busy. They try and minimise the inconvenience as much as possible so the road doesn't get closed until the last minute before free practice 1. Let's talk about this wild track walk because we're doing it while there's rush hour traffic.
Yeah, it's insane. You know, like the only similar track walk we get to this is the Macau Grand Prix, and we always do it with like 11 p.m. midnight because there's less cars. But here we've decided to do it on rush hour, and we do it every year, and it's crazy, but it's also cool. You know, it gives a little bit of the Monaco craziness vibe, and it's awesome.
What can we expect to see this weekend? Because we've got Pit Boost as well back on the first of the 2 races. What sort of race could that shape in race 1 at least?
I think race 1 with a pit boost, so obviously both races 29 laps, the same length, and race 1 will have a bit more energy from the charge, so the race will be faster. There's less energy to save. Race 2, we'll see a little bit more of a slower race at the start, the kind of, you know, that kind of peloton race, obviously in a much tighter track, but yeah, the leader's not going fully for it early on and trying to save some energy, and then there will be a moment where someone will pull the trigger. But the difference to the past is our new attack mode, right? With the 4-wheel drive, that will change things up a little bit. As a team, we've tried to and foresee every possible scenario, but I know the one scenario that will happen is the one we haven't foreseen.
Pascal, coming off the back of a win in Miami, we're in Monaco for this weekend, a double header. Firstly, general excitement. Are you ready for this?
I'm missing my taxi now because of you. Look, he's closing the door. Yeah, really looking forward. It's one of the best races in the year, and iconic place, great track for us in Formula E, so we see a lot of overtaking here, and yeah, perfect match.
Carrying a nice bit of momentum as well with the points that a race win now.
I think we brought ourselves now into a good position. Obviously we were very unlucky in the first 4 races, 2 DNFs, and big jump now into P3 in the championship, and yeah, hopefully we can keep the momentum and have a bit of a luckier phase now. Look, he's turning around now. I really tried to.
Is it for you?
Otherwise I have like a 1-hour walk. It's green. Look.
Go, Pascal. Go. Get your taxi. Now that is content. Oh, he didn't even get it. So that's the track walk done. Amazing to hear from some drivers as always. Tomorrow it's an early start. It's going back to the old days of FE when you've got everything packed into a full schedule. Free practice in the morning, into qualifying and then the race. I don't know how this race is going to pan out. Usually I have some form of hint or little, I don't know, something, a prediction that I think this person's going to do well here. This weekend, with all the new things coming into it with Pit Boost, I honestly don't know. But that's the race. Before we even think about racing, we've got to find out where these drivers are going to be starting from on the grid. Next up, quali. Welcome to the pit lane here in Monaco for race 1 of the doubleheader. Qualifying has just finished and it was incredible. It's Taylor Barnard on pole position. Could this be the race that he gets that final checkbox of Formula E done and gets the race win? Next to him is Oliver Rowland, which was an incredible battle, but he hit the wall in the final of the qualifying duels. Dan Ticktum's on the second row, as is Nick De Vries. All good performances from those 4 drivers. The autograph session is just about to start. The drivers are getting out and about. Let's go talk to a few of them. Is there anything like racing in Monaco? Is there anything that comes close?
No, I don't think so. It's very, very special. There is a special atmosphere. The racing track is very challenging, and we just love it.
Are we going to see some more pit boost success today from you guys? Because you're pretty good at it in Jeddah.
Hopefully. I'll tell you after the race, but it worked actually quite good in Jeddah.
There's some serious support from Mahindra.
Yeah,
we've seen hats, we've seen giant versions of your face. Have you seen those yet?
I kind of try to avoid those. I don't really like looking at my own face.
This is your best start of the season. It's actually the best start for Mahindra of the season as well. Plenty on the cards.
Yeah, definitely. It was a solid session. We're definitely pleased starting on the second row. Now heads ahead and focus on the race, and hopefully we can have some luck and score a podium.
If I offered it to you in my hand and I said, this is the position you can take right now, what would you say?
Podium.
Unbelievable support from Mahindra here. I especially like the 10 times size version of your face.
No, so that's the problem. It's not the 10 times size, it's my size.
Big milestone for Lucas. How are you, mate? First of all, coming off the back of the podium in Miami, and this is, I was just saying, it's a big milestone. This is your 20th year racing in Monaco. That's amazing.
This is also my second home, right? So like Brazil is my home race. This is also my home race because basically I use these roads every single day to take them to school. So it's a bit weird to be in a race car. It's kind of, you don't realize you're in the same place, right?
As long as you don't do that on the next school run, that's fine.
No, you can't.
You were phenomenal in qualifying today, sir, and I've got to ask you, what was the secret of the magic today, and was it the haircut? Because of that, there's speed in that, we know it.
Honestly, the team have done a great job since FP1. I didn't think we had the pace, honestly. Where the lap came from, I really don't know. It didn't feel like I was driving the car.
Going up against Oliver, this is the second time this season where you've gone up against someone that's been quite a pivotal part of your career so far, and both times you've beaten him.
Every time I go into a qualifying, I just try and do the best that I can. But yeah, obviously we know what happened last time in Jeddah, that he didn't get the pole, but he definitely beat me in the race, so I'm not going to let that happen twice.
This is amazing. This is the checkered flag right here. Can I wave it? Look at this, guys. Checkered flag. FIA. I'm not going to give it a big wave, save it for the end of the race, but this is cool. We're in the fan zone in Monaco, time for a little vibe check. Let's see what's going on, let's see what people are thinking. Oh, I love the Kiro race hats, great. Maserati hat, McLaren t-shirt. Are you spreading your bets, or do you just have a lot of fandom for both teams?
I just have a lot of fandom for both teams.
So you've got 4 drivers to choose from today.
Yeah.
Who do you want to win?
I'd love to see Taylor win, because it'd be incredible to see him get the record, and it's great to see young talent in the sport.
Sam or Taylor?
Sam.
Okay,
Although we've met Taylor's parents this morning.
Has that moved the barometer a little bit?
We have to say both of them. We want 1-2 opposite way rounds both days.
I'm guessing
Yes.
you're a Porsche fan.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a Porsche fan.
What about yourself? Are you supporting Porsche as well?
Yeah, kind of, but I think the Mahindra team or McLaren is on top.
Mahindra's a great shout, because they're kind of surprising us a little bit. I think
Agrees.
I can see that you're all Mahindra fans.
We are all behind these 2 guys, and this guy particularly.
Fred and everything. First time Formula E in Monaco, or have you done it before?
No, we went every year since 3 years.
Die-hard fans, I like to hear it. Okay. First time in Monaco Formula E?
Yes. First time to Formula in general.
First time Monaco, went to Berlin last year and just got hooked, had to come again.
So I came last year, which was my first Formula E race, and the experience was incredible. Like, I would recommend this to anyone. I'd say it's a lot better than the F1 as well.
Oh, that's what we like to hear. Get that in a quote, get it on a t-shirt, just do whatever you need to do.
Really excited to see how the pit stops are going to come into play with strategy. Going to be really interesting, especially with attack mode, and maybe a bit of rain tomorrow as well.
Very cool part of the fan zone here, the gaming arena, people getting their chance to get on the sim and have a go, what it feels like to drive a Formula E car. I mean, if we're here, I'm going to do it, aren't I? Look at that, my name's already in there. Let's go on this track. Woohoo! So far, so good. Whoa, stop! Oh, and I'm upside down, yeah! Because realistically, guys, this is as close as I'm getting to be a Formula E driver. Here we are, the most famous grid in motorsport, the Monte Carlo Street Circuit grid. Everything's starting to kick off behind me. The drivers have arrived. Taylor Barnard's right there, pole position. Let's go see what we can find. What do you reckon we can get from today's race?
Well, I think first of all, gaining a lot of confidence. You know, everything's just getting a bit better, tighter. You know, he's learning a lot more, and I'm really excited for him today. Dan.
Get involved. Come here. We're just talking you up.
Talking me up, thank you, mate. That's lovely. I know. Some people are in my corner, which is nice.
Talk to us about the game plan from here.
I think it'll be a bit classic at the start of no one really wanting to lead, which is funny in a race for efficiency purposes. So just see where our targets get to around the pit window.
Your mum just photobombed.
Love that.
For goodness sake. Well, that's where I get it from, everyone. Like.
Where are you going to be watching the race from?
I'm going to be here for a little bit, and then I'm going to be in the mechanics pit.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Headphones on, switched
a little
on.
bit. Well, just getting involved, you know.
That's what we love to hear.
It's not a gimmick for me, man. I really invested in this team, in Dan and David, and just it's real.
It's very, very, very cool, I have to say, to have him here. So.
I actually feel a little bit like an NFL player sometimes. I'm just like at dodging drivers like Pascal Verlaine. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. So we've gone from a packed grid to very subdued. Everybody's left. It's the calm before the storm now. All the drivers are ready to go green and hit this Monaco race for the first of 2 races this weekend. I can feel it in the atmosphere. I can't call it. Race up next. See you at the end.
Who will be the master in Monaco as the lights go out and we go racing? Oh, big one, there's the Porsche. It is Antonio Felix da Costa out of the race in spectacular style. So Roland hits the front for the first time in this race. Contact and Barnard into the barrier. Oliver Roland wins the Monaco E-Prix.
So race 1 of this doubleheader at Monaco is complete, and it was a good one. It was a spicy one, actually, let's be honest. There was a lot of incidents in that race. Seeing some of the cars coming back on the back of trucks at the moment, battered and bruised from the battle scars that happen in a Formula E race, especially around a circuit like this in Monaco. Let's talk a little bit about the man on top. Today's race winner, Oliver Roland, even makes that healthy gap at the top of the standings, championship leader even better than it was coming into this weekend. Credit to not just Jake Dennis for his podium, but also his teammate Nico Müller, who very much made Dennis's podium possible by creating a gap bigger than the penalty that Dennis had received. And not just that, Müller did that from pretty much back of the grid when it came to the race start. So incredibly good work, great teamwork. And finally, credit to Nick de Vries, his first podium for Mahindra's first podium in quite a long time. I just feel like that reflects the trajectory that they've been on as a team. They're just sort of getting better and better, picking up more qualifying dual appearances and then getting further into that and then getting points and now finally getting in a position where they've got that podium. I'm even going to go out there and say we're going to see a Mahindra win this season. I put that out there. Let me know in the comments if you agree. But all things said, today Monaco delivered once again, and we get to do it all again tomorrow. Is it going to deliver? Of course it is. It's Monaco. See you then. So welcome to race 2 here in Monaco. As you can see, it is the polar opposite when it comes to weather to yesterday. Yesterday I was just wearing 1 layer, today I'm wearing 3 in order to keep dry, and that had a profound effect on qualifying. It's Oliver Roland on pole position, something that he kind of technically inherited. He was going to be in the final with one of the DS Penske drivers, but they both, whilst going against each other in a semi-final, had both their lap times deleted, so the final didn't really even take place, and it was Oliver Roland on pole position. He'll be joined next on the front row with Nick de Vries, who betters his best qualifying performance of the season yesterday, going even further by putting it on the front row. I actually said it yesterday, if you remember, that I think it's not going to be long before we see a Mahindra win a race. I'm seeing the tables out, I'm not seeing any drivers yet, but come back to me in 5 seconds and we'll find out if it's auto-off session and we can talk to some drivers. So as you can see, there is still quite a lot of puddles around. Even though it's dry as we speak, there is more incoming. Look, have a look at this. This is the next hour. This is Saunders' trusty weather app. You can see we're in a clear gap, a clear patch of dry weather, and then all of this comes through for the next hour. You get a little gap, but then before that happens, another one comes in. So for the rest of the day, it's basically on and off rain.
Thank you.
There you go. My pleasure. I'm always here to help.
Always there. Okay.
So
We're okay with that.
You became the winner, man.
There's one man that I know knows how to do well when it comes to wet races. And my mind always goes back to the first ever Formula E wet race, Paris season 5, and you were basically unstoppable. No one could keep it as on the track as you could.
Well, I was fighting with one guy at the beginning all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, your teammate, Seb, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that was definitely a good day.
Give us an update on the car. How's it looking?
Hopefully it'll be ready in time. Obviously starting at the back or pit lane, but hopefully we'll make it out for today's race.
How is it driving in the wet with the Gen 3 Evo?
I mean, honestly, okay, the Evo bit, the all-wheel drive, it's bearable. But when we're driving around at 300s, you're surviving. You're not driving, you're surviving. So that's what we'll be doing, I think, in the race today.
Oliver Rowland, another pole position for you this season.
Another,
it's my
first.
It's not every day that you can do a donut in a duel and then also get it on pole position.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment everything just seems to be going right, so we need to, you have to be there in the fight to make it good, so yeah, I'm already a bit stressed about the race, to be honest. It'd be tricky with the attack mode, there'd be a big benefit in four-wheel drive in the rain, so yeah, we just have to survive. Whatever it is, we just have to manage in the moment, and that's usually what I do quite well.
There we go, autograph session over. Lots of good insight from the drivers there, a few stories, a few anecdotes. Now we have the race in just a few hours. Question is it going to be a wet race? We've seen the prediction, we've talked to all the drivers. It's not raining right now, but the radar says it is going to rain in a little while. I guess we'll have to find out. We're now on the grid for the second time of the weekend, and guess what? It's still raining, and it looks like that's going to be the way it continues, and it's going to be a wet race. Sam Bird isn't going to be on the grid. He's going to be, if at all, starting from the pit lane. Hope that Sam Bird can get out and make for the race, but while we're here, let's soak up the grid and go see who we can find.
Yeah, so effectively we were very quickly able to ascertain that there was no damage to the chassis, so that's the main thing. FPK, the drive shaft had come out the front. Now we don't know exactly what that's done to the internals, so we actually took a preventative measure and changed that around, even though that's put us on the back foot for getting everything ready.
So I'm now joined by Thomas from yesterday. First of all, credit on the video, it was incredible. Really good storytelling of the championship.
I was amazed by the access that we had, and also even for me not driving, being able to be up close and be in the garage and talking to the engineers and the drivers. It felt like opening up a door that I never knew I could even open, and being that up close and seeing Amar really face a personal fear ultimately and put himself out there and do great on the laps. I was super proud. So I felt super privileged and just lucky to be that up close.
Are you a fan of driving in the wet?
Usually, yes, but we don't have that great pace in the wet. This year we're struggling a little bit with this car, so hoping it dries out.
Right now there's a lot of discussion up and down the grid in every car about what to do with tyres, and especially with tyre pressures, I guess. With a track that's going to be so dynamic, some people will get it right and some people will get it wrong. We're just trying to make that decision now, so it's the engineers are pretty stressed behind me.
Is it even more of a roll of the dice than Formula E is by default? You're not changing the tyres in Formula E, so those tyre pressures settings on things you do, they have to be done at the start based on what you think is going to happen in the race. And then the attack mode strategy is exactly the same. It's if you think it's going to rain and you're going to need the extra grip, then you might want to get that done earlier. But if you think the rain's going to hold off, you can maybe adopt a normal strategy and go back to what you would do in a dry race. I mean, there's so much to think about if there isn't enough to think about already. And I think that probably brings us up to a nice closing point, because the race is about to start in just a few minutes and they're going to be kicking us off the grid any minute now. Oh, it's going to be an exciting one. This is what I love about double headers. You always get a difference between the 2 days, either because the number of laps or the strategy or the sensitivity with the energy. Here, it's the weather. I couldn't feel more British just constantly talking about the weather, but it's going to be a big deal here. I can't wait to see what happens.
Oh, he clattered into the back of Beckman. And, Lucas de Grassi looks to be out. Oh, they've touched. Oh, takes him in the wall. Takes him to the wall down at Mirabeau. And he can't get that rotated. Can. Fantastic. Oh, contact down to the first corner. Oh, it's Müller. 3 cars into one. Contact between them. This is brave, it's bold, it's off onto the escape road and over the curb. There's no room there. So he can, but Sebastian Buemi leads the Monaco E-Prix for Envision. Buemi takes the checkered flag in commanding style from Oliver Rowland. Yes! Whoa.
Mate, that is incredible.
Well, we said that Monaco wasn't going to disappoint, and it definitely lived up to that once again. Time to dive into the action. So let's bring in two of my favourite people in the Formula E paddock, Katie Fairman and John Jackson. So let's start with race one.
It's nice to have, obviously, Nick De Vries' first podium since his Formula E comeback, and also Jake Dennis. It's been over a year, which is a crazy statistic.
That's mad.
Last podium, Misano. So yeah, great to see them back, and of course, Ollie smashing it as per.
To think that he had that 6 months off and he left mid-season and now he's come back and he's refocused. I know it's the season after that, but it just makes me think what would have happened if he hadn't missed Portland last year.
Of course, we need to talk about Pit Boost as well, because it had its second appearance of the season yesterday in race one. And there was that sort of maybe correctly or incorrectly timed safety car that made the likes of Nico Müller be able to capitalise on it.
Yeah, obviously these kind of big strategy elements can also have a huge impact with luck, as well as like the teams can make as many strategy calls as they want to, but luck can sometimes always come into it. But yeah, I really enjoyed the addition of Pit Boost yesterday and can't wait to see it next time out in Tokyo.
I was a little bit worried that for people watching at home, they would find it a little bit confusing. We already have attack mode, we already have loads of overtakes, and you know, motorsports fans aren't maybe used to the amount of overtakes they see in Formula E. What would new fans make of it? But actually, I think it did add a lot to this weekend. And actually, the graphics on the TV product, the energy bar reminds me of my phone. Never had my phone fully charged. So I think there's a lot of relatable things there. But going back to the racing, yeah, I think it adds a lovely element of strategy that everyone has to factor in.
And then going into today's race, pretty much everything the teams and drivers learned from yesterday went directly out of the window as soon as the heavens opened and just turned it into a wet racetrack.
It did, yeah. I mean, an incredible victory for Seb Buemi. I was saying to him in the media pen, I don't think there's a single person in this paddock that isn't absolutely gassed and buzzing for him. Such a deserving victory, and yeah, the first win since 2019.
What goes on in your mind when you haven't won a race for that long? He's gone through the whole pandemic. You know, that seems like years ago. Well, that was before that he last won in New York. And you could see in the press conference afterwards when I spoke to Nick Cassidy that he was really over the moon for Seb. And I know that he was kind of like over the moon for himself but didn't want to show it too much. But when he spoke about Seb, you know, he was clearly really pleased for someone he's obviously shared a lot of debriefs with and shared a lot of moments with when they were teammates. The thing that I'm taking away from this weekend, Formula E really belongs here in Monaco, right? Even with the wet race, we had over, I don't have the stats to hand, but I think it was over 130 overtakes today, and that's without Pit Boost.
It was 194, I think.
And yesterday was nearly 200.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the fans here, look at the action they got. You know, I've got friends here and they absolutely loved it. You know, that's how I measure these things.
It's like the Gen 3 Evo. That sort of car is where the Monte Carlo street circuit can deliver. And having these sort of level calibre of drivers mixed with that car is just a match made in heaven.
I just love a street circuit. I'm such a sucker for a street circuit, and for me, Monaco and Formula E are just perfect together. So I'm really hoping that we get to see more of those. Obviously going to Tokyo next as well, which is another fantastic street circuit. So more of those, please, Formula E.
Okay, Katie's request has gone in. If you could please follow that. Let's wrap up the weekend by talking about drivers or best drivers, favourite drivers from the weekend that you want to take away, starting with you, Katie.
Yeah, it's coming. I'm going to go for Seb Buemi. I love a wholesome story. I'm an emotional girl. You know, I've shed a tear at seeing Seb up there, so it was really, really precious. I mean, it's been a long time since he's last stood on that top step, and I'm sure there is, obviously he's absolutely smashing it in other championships, but when it comes to Formula E, maybe there were some doubts, and he's now put himself back up at the top of the all-time winners list. So, you know, an incredible achievement for him, and I think a good reminder that the guy's a legend, okay?
I'm also an emotional girl. So I love. I'm going to do two. There's a runner-up. Nick Cassidy. You know, having watched the new docu-series Driver on Amazon Prime, which is available right now, just reliving London and how much of a toll that must have taken on Nick. Seeing Nick being interviewed the day after, having to talk about what happened in London, to see him back on the podium today. Clearly, it means a lot to him. I know he was kind of playing it off a little bit, but he'll be really pleased inside. But obviously, my driver of the weekend is Oliver Rowland. Absolutely smashed it again. As I said, 48 points, leading the championship, coming into Tokyo, which will mark the halfway point in the season.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it.
Guys,
it
sounds
might
like you're
be his
jinxing
year.
it.
Absolutely, okay. I'm going to also go with two drivers, but I'm going to keep them from the same team.
Nice.
I'm going to talk about Mahindra Racing.
Yeah.
Because I just think, and I've said it so much over the weekend in this content, that they're just on this trajectory which is so positive. And you know, this is now 3 races back to back with double-digit point scores. You know, Nick De Vries had a podium yesterday. I think on a different day, he could have had another podium today.
And I think he's fully settled back in now. He's in a comfortable place. He's got a car that is showing progress. He can believe in. He's got his mojo back.
John, Katie, thank you very much for recapping the weekend with me. It's been a delight. Monaco did not disappoint once again. Next up, we head to Tokyo in Japan. Let us know what you thought of the video in the comments, and we would like to know what you want to see on these videos. If there's anything behind the scenes that you haven't seen yet in this content, let us know in the comments and we'll be sure to deliver. See you in a few weeks.
Here they are, all lined up, ready to go. Lights out and we're racing here in Tokyo. Oh, disaster. Maximilian Günther takes Maserati's first win since Jakarta last year. What a drive from the German.